we also know this is how tyrants operate. They start by identifying a scapegoat. We've seen this around the world, we've seen it in America. And then they go after the most vulnerable, the least able to fight back, and they hope no one notices. As we speak up, because we know when any one of us is a target, we are all at risk. And no matter who we are, it's just a question of when we will be next. So we need to send a little bit more message. We should pause right here because I think I need your help. When he here, instead of law, we say, no kings!
No kings!
When he sends troops into American cities, we say, no kings! When he deports without due process, we say,
no kings!
And make no mistake, we've seen this before, right here in New Mexico and even from the same president. You know, I remember going down to the border in 2018 when children were being separated from parents. And I'm glad we were reminded that that actually continued, by the way, and is still happening in some ways. But I remember we stood shoulder to shoulder with the immigrant families and we said loud and clear, Albuquerque will not turn its back on families, no matter what that in defiance of President Trump, I signed the immigrant-friendly law to make sure no police officers, no employees, Now we know, unfortunately, that fear keeps knocking right here at home. Just this week, 11 migrant workers were arrested by ICE in New Mexico dairy farm.
Boo!
These are people who literally provide the milk that feeds our families, and they were detained like criminals with no warrant and no rationale.
Boo!
In the South Valley, ICE is cold knocking on doors without warrants, stoking fear. That is not law enforcement. That is terror. That is exactly what that is. This is what happens when someone wants to rule and not to lead. That's right. So when they raid our businesses, we say, no kings. When they jail our neighbors without cause, we say,
no kings.
When they make people afraid to call 911, we say,
no kings.
So here in Albuquerque, we know the difference between control and community. And we celebrate our 20,000 immigrant families in this city every day.
Yeah!
You know, we're throwing around a lot of history today because we should. I will tell you, our city hall and convention center, when it was built, they didn't have enough local labor. So guess who built it? Immigrants from Chihuahua. Our own city hall, our own convention center. So our immigrant community knows that we have to make sure, no matter what, that we send a message. We do not check your papers, we check on your safety. In this city, that's right, in this country, we don't rule people, we stand with them. And our community needs our help, especially our immigrant community now, perhaps more than ever. So thank you for showing up. Our city is hosting Know Your Rights town halls. Even APD is doing Spanish language Know Your Rights town halls. And we are handing thousands of these Know Your Right red cards all over APS.
Woo!
And to show you that it works, this card actually came from my daughter who is at APS, and she just said, I was told to give this to my parents. That's the city I want to live in. So now is the time to act, to support immigrant rights organizations, to show up, to speak up, to be organized. Because we know our democracy is never to be taken for granted, and it's something we must defend. So I'm going to close with this. Look around here today just a little bit, next to you and behind you, at the thousands of people who are here today. This is our strength. This is our power.
No kings! No kings!
We are strong, we are resilient, and we love this place and each other. Thank you so much.
Woo!
Ladies and gentlemen, the mayor
Tim Keller. Go Tim.
We've got another question for Representative Stansberry. What's your name? Okay, Kaden, what's your question?
I have a question for Representative Stansberry. I am disabled, and like most people in our lives, everyone will become disabled at some point in their lives, and millions of Americans are today. However, the federal government is attacking Medicaid, which is the life source for so many families and children. What is your plan to protect our livelihoods and allow us to participate in the world today?
Can you read it again? Kaden, thank you so much for that question. Thank you. That's a question for a lot of people. We got a lot more to come your way. We're going to march around this track in just a few minutes. We got a dance party. We want to see your signs. But before we do any of that, let's do this. Terry.
And we know it's hot. We are well aware of that. So there in the first aid tent, there is water. If you need water or feeling heat exhausted, please make your way, and they can assist you. They are behind me in the command center there under the little roof, right behind me. So the first aid tent has water. If you need it, don't hesitate. They're there for you. So it is my pleasure. How many of you know who Robert Mirabal is? Woo! And how about nosotros? We have them together here to give you a different feel for the beauty of New Mexico. So, two-time Grammy winner, Native American musician, composer, painter, master craftsman, poet, actor, screenwriter, author, horseman, and farmer. That's Robert Mirabal. We grew up on the Taos Pueblo, and what I read is he says two things have been an essential part of his life that he will never let go of: farming and music. He has been named twice the Native American Music Awards Artist of the Year, and has received the Songwriter of the Year award 3 times. Robert's flutes, we all know, have been displayed at the Smithsonian Institute's Museum of the American Indian. Wow. And he has performed around the world with his band. Accompanying him today is Randy Sanchez. Yay!